Have you ever wondered why dragons, these majestic mythical creatures, are found in nearly every culture's folklore and mythology? These enigmatic beings, as varied as the cultures they hail from, have long captured the human imagination. What is it that makes dragons so universally fascinating? They're not like other mythical creatures confined to the folklore of a single culture or region. Dragons permeate our collective consciousness, appearing in stories told by countless civilizations across the globe. From the feathered serpents of Mesoamerican lore to the fire-breathing monsters of European tales, dragons take many shapes but always inspire awe and wonder. Dragons, in their essence, are creatures of extraordinary power and wisdom. They're often depicted as guardians or protectors, symbols of strength and courage. Yet they can also be fearsome adversaries, embodying chaos and destruction. This dichotomy, this balance of benevolence and menace, is part of what makes dragons so captivating. In Chinese mythology, for instance, dragons are symbols of imperial power and good fortune. They control the elements and bring rain for the crops. Contrast that with Western tales where dragons often play the villain, hoarding treasures and terrorizing towns, yet even in their ferocity they are respected, even revered, for their strength and cunning. So why does this particular creature resonate so deeply with us? Perhaps it's because dragons embody the extremes of our own nature, our capacity for both creation and destruction. Or maybe it's because they represent the unknown, the unexplored territories of our world and our minds. They are the embodiment of the mysteries we long to understand. Dragons are not just mythical creatures, they are symbols, metaphors for the human condition, representing our fears, our aspirations, and our quest for understanding. They are the embodiment of our shared human experience, a testament to our collective imagination. As we delve deeper into the past, unraveling the mysteries of dragons becomes an intriguing journey into the human psyche and our collective consciousness. Our journey begins in the cradle of civilization, where dragons first roared into life in human imagination. The earliest civilizations like Mesopotamia, Egypt, and China are rich with dragon lore. These mythical beasts, as diverse as the cultures that created them, were depicted in various forms and played significant roles in their respective societies. In Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers, dragons were often associated with gods and were seen as symbols of chaos and destruction. One notable dragon from this era is Tiamat, a sea dragon from Babylonian mythology who embodied the chaos of primordial creation. Moving on to the land of pyramids, Egypt, dragons were viewed differently. Apep, the ancient Egyptian deity often depicted as a giant serpent, was considered the god of chaos. However, he was also seen as a necessary evil that maintained the balance of the universe. Now let's travel eastward to China, where dragons are revered and celebrated. Chinese dragons, unlike their Western counterparts, were seen as benevolent creatures. They symbolized power, strength, and good luck. The Chinese dragon was also a symbol of the emperor's authority, reinforcing his divine right to rule. The question that often arises is why these ancient civilizations, far removed from each other, all created the concept of dragons. Some theories suggest that the discovery of dinosaur fossils might have led to the creation of dragon myths. Others propose that these creatures were born from humanity's innate fear of the unknown, particularly the dangers that lurk in the wild. Regardless of their origins, dragons in antiquity were not merely creatures of myth and legend. They were integral parts of these cultures, intertwined with their religions, philosophies, and societal structures. They were embodiments of the human struggle against chaos, symbols of power and authority, and even harbingers of good fortune. From protectors to destroyers, dragons in ancient times were as diverse as the cultures that birthed them. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, where dragons took on a more sinister role, embodying evil and chaos. During these times, dragons underwent a significant transformation in their portrayal, especially in European folklore and Christian symbolism. Before we delve into the Middle Ages, let's take a step back. In the ancient times, dragons were often revered deities, symbols of power, wisdom, and guardians of treasures. They were praised and worshipped, their images carved into stones and painted on walls. But as centuries passed, these majestic creatures took a dark turn. Welcome to the Middle Ages, a time of knights and castles, of epic battles and mystical tales. Here, dragons were no longer the revered deities of old. They had become the embodiment of evil and chaos, feared monsters that brought destruction and dread. In the European folklore, dragons were often depicted as large, fire-breathing beasts that lived in dark caves or atop high mountains. They were the adversaries of knights, the ultimate test of bravery and valor. A knight who could slay a dragon was hailed a hero, a champion of the people. The transition of dragons from revered deities to feared monsters was not a simple shift. It was a complex process influenced by cultural, religious, and societal changes. During the Middle Ages, Christianity was the dominant religion in Europe. The dragon, with its fearsome image, became a symbol of Satan, the ultimate embodiment of evil in Christian theology. Dragons were frequently featured in Christian art and literature, depicted as the monstrous adversaries of saints and angels. They served as a symbol of the spiritual battles between good and evil, between God and the devil. In the labyrinth of medieval tales, dragons became the embodiment of the fears and challenges humanity needed to overcome. They were the darkness that needed to be defeated, the chaos that needed to be tamed. Their stories served as a reflection of the trials and tribulations of the times, a mirror of the human struggle against adversity. In the Middle Ages, the dragon was not merely a mythical creature, it was a symbol, a metaphor, a lesson. It was a beast to be feared, a challenge to be overcome, and a reminder of the enduring human spirit. In the labyrinth of medieval tales, dragons became the embodiment of the fears and challenges humanity needed to overcome. In today's world, dragons have once again transformed, this time into beloved figures of fantasy and adventure. These mythical creatures have found a home in the heart of popular culture. They've soared beyond the pages of ancient myths and into the realms of literature, films, and video games. Dragons have become central figures in epic tales, their fiery breath and majestic wings captivating readers, viewers, and players alike. In literature, dragons have taken on a variety of roles. They've been terrifying adversaries in stories like J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, where the dragon Smaug is a fearsome antagonist. Yet they've also been portrayed as noble and wise creatures in series like The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, where dragons and their riders share a profound bond. Moving on to the silver screen, dragons have been brought to life through stunning visual effects. They've been depicted as awe-inspiring beasts in movies like the Lord of the Rings series and Harry Potter, and as endearing companions in animated films like How to Train Your Dragon. Video games have also embraced these mythical beasts, often as formidable foes to be defeated or as powerful allies to be tamed. From Skyrim to World of Warcraft, dragons have become a staple in the virtual world, their grandeur and might adding a layer of excitement and challenge. This shift in perception of dragons from terrifying beasts to complex, often sympathetic creatures mirrors our own evolving understanding of the world around us. The dragon, once a symbol of fear and destruction, has become a symbol of strength, wisdom, and sometimes friendship. They represent the untamed forces of nature, the mysteries of the unknown, and the possibility of magic in our everyday lives. In our modern narratives, dragons have become metaphors for power, wisdom, and the untamed forces of nature. So, what is it about dragons that continues to captivate us, even in the 21st century? Dragons, these mythical creatures of scales and fire, continue to permeate our stories, our art, and our collective imagination. But why? Why, in an age defined by science and technology, do we still find ourselves drawn to these fantastical beasts of lore? One theory suggests it's the sheer power and majesty of dragons that captivates us. They are the embodiment of raw, untamed force. They fly, they breathe fire, they battle knights and hoard treasures. Their power is unparalleled, and we are drawn to it, fascinated by it, in the same way we are drawn to the grandeur of nature, the power of a storm, or the vastness of the sea. But it's not just about power. Dragons are also creatures of immense complexity. They can be wise and benevolent, like the dragons of Eastern mythology, or fierce and destructive, like the dragons of Western tales. They can be symbols of chaos or harbingers of wisdom. They can be villains or heroes, monsters or saviors. This complexity mirrors our own human nature, our capacity for both good and evil, wisdom and folly. And then there's the allure of the unknown. Dragons inhabit a world that is not our own, a world of magic and mystery. They represent the ultimate escape from reality, a plunge into a realm where anything is possible. We are drawn to dragons because they offer us a window into a world beyond our own, a world where the ordinary rules do not apply. So perhaps the enduring allure of dragons lies in their ability to reflect our own hopes and fears, our dreams and nightmares. They embody the power and mystery of the unknown, the complexity of human nature, and the thrill of the fantastical. Perhaps, in the end, dragons are not just mythical beasts, but mirrors of our own human nature, powerful, complex, and endlessly fascinating.